shock cards?
Yeah, we need to open the shock class.
Right.
It always takes me about 5 minutes to clear my voice in the afternoon. So we're grabbing our props for the day. We've got 2 cork blocks. Good. We've got a blanket, a strap, a bolster.
That's all I need.
Happy face. Woo. We're rolling down. We're rolling down.
One crazy thing about having no life and being very busy, I am losing weight by accident. Like I almost like. Anyway.
Okay, so we're focusing on how to set up here.
Okay.
The cork block is under the head. Good. Second block starts at the lower ribs, and we're just bringing the soles of the feet together into Baddha Konasana. And I would recommend using a strap. It's entirely up to you, but it does help to intensify that opening in the hips. And after all, this is a hip class, hip and hamstring class. So we want to have the strap so that it's pulling towards us. And just take our feet. Be sure that it's not sitting on the skin. Is that a driver strap?
Yeah. So what's the I can't get the right way.
So let's just start to let go of our day. Is that strap? Are you needing me? It is good. Float over through it. 60 seconds. I know, unfortunately, this is a little bit of tinkering, and I always joke that you need a PhD to do these straps, especially the American ones. Not to say that the Americans don't make great things, but plastic straps are very confusing. This is one from Germany, and provided that you thread it through that first hole, you can not make a mistake there. But it takes a bit of a while to find it. Voila! Merci. So we're taking the strap around the outsides of the feet, and again, underneath your hip in the back, so that it's coming down towards the buttocks. And I refer to this pose as the holy pose, because we spend a lot of time in the forward bend, meaning the spine is in flexion, and therefore that pelvic floor area is closed, and so is the upper chest. So the number 1 and number 2 disease centers are typically closed when we sleep. And if you sit for a living, that's the situation. So we're just working toward creating a counter movement that provides that opening through the pelvic floor and the upper chest. See if you can press through your outer heels, right up along that outer foot into the baby toes. So just finding your feet. Try to spread the toes a little wider. And let your hips be heavy. So often the hips are barely connecting to the floor. See if you can create that sense of growing roots through your sit bones. So just creating a deeper connection to the earth, to Mother Nature. And then let's start to breathe a little more deeply now. So let's breathe together to let go of the day. That's the ticket to cleanse the mind of all thought using the breath. upper armpit chest lift through the inhale. So new life is coming to the body through the inhale. And start to find a sense of letting go now through your exhale. So you completely finish that exhale. Feel the exhale pass out through the sits bones. Slow, smooth inhale. Take your time with that breath. Visualize the life force, the prana coming to the body through that breath. Slow, smooth exhale. Make that exhale just as long as the inhale. Slow and smooth, completely emptying the breath, finishing every last one of that exhale. So we inhale, we bring new life, we prana to the body through that breath. Start to feel a sense of letting go now through your exhale. Start to connect with the release, the body's natural tool of letting go of tension. That's the exhale. So start to feel that tension leave the body. Don't force the exhale. Allow the tension just to pass elegantly, leaving the body forever. Let's take the hands to the elbows. Reaching the elbows up and overhead. See if you can widen the outermost forearm away from the center line of the body. Breathe deeply, everybody. Full body breaths now, widening from the center of the armpit out to the sides. And now dropping the lower ribs down towards the hips. So we create this deep opening in the upper chest. And then see if you can create that sense of drawing your sits bones towards your lower ribs. So we're looking for that deep connection as we grow roots through the earth to try and draw the sits bones towards the lower ribs. if you can deepen that journey of awareness by tightening the skin of the arm around the flesh. Let your breath be free to travel from your fingertips to your toes. Good job, everybody. Slowly release, and then start to make your way up. So just move the length of the strap bar away from you to release the strap. And let's just cross the ankles and fold forward. Just a nice, easy counter stretch. We were in a deep back bend. So now we're bringing the spine back into its comfort zone with lower bend. See if you can use your palms to press your sits bones to the floor. And then use the inhale to lift the belly, lift the sternum, lift through the sides of the arm and the chest. So let the side body lift through the inhale. And release just the backs of the shoulders down away from the ears, continuing that sense of lifting through the front. So we want to avoid jamming the sacrum into the lower back. So we create that sense of lifting through the side body. Let the breath perform its duty, perform its magic, creating space, anchoring sound in a nice, gentle, loving fashion. Let's walk the hands back up. And just change the length of the ankles. Once again, roll forward. This will be your more upward side. So just notice where the weight is in your sits bone. See if you can balance the weight between the left and the right sits bone, gripping the floor with your sits bone. So we're growing roots, and then we lift through that front body, creating that deep fold from the hip, that hinge in the hip. Let the breath perform its magic. Let the mind start to fall away down. Letting go of that ongoing conversation. It's tough. We barely notice that we're carrying on that ongoing dialogue inside. See if you can let that dialogue fall away even for a moment and just focus on the breath. Slowly walk the hands in, and just take the right hand to the right, that's it. Take the left arm over, try to drop the right elbow down, keeping the left sits bone down. And then reach that arm in the opposite direction, that's it. Create that two-dimensional stretch by gripping the floor with that left sits bone, reaching the left arm in the opposite direction. Drop your right shoulder down. Good, then slowly come up. And let's come over to the other side. So try to keep that right sit bone on the floor. Start to create a deeper connection yeah. We're lining everything up here. That feet, hip, right ankle. And you can see how much space I have underneath my right armpit. So a lot of us will have that elbow forward. See if you can take it back. And now the tendency is to roll backwards. See if you can start to tuck your sit bones in and under. Gripping your sit bones to your heels. Start to press through your heels. That's it. So you see I'm scooching around here looking for that balance. So we try and tip slightly forward, lifting the left leg. That's it. So that outer right heel should be digging into the floor. And then start to draw the left knee in towards us. So you can see how we want to tip back. It's the balancer muscle we're working on. Good job. Oh. That's it. So moving slowly. Tuck that right sit bone. Take that right sit bone to the right heel. Tipping slightly forward. Straighten that left leg. See if you can take that left sit bone down to the inner right heel. So this pose is very good for scoliosis. Any type of scoliosis for the spine. Not a girl, just fight it. Stick it. Dig that outer right heel, tuck your right sit bone. So it's a battle sometimes, right? So try to take your left hip towards your inner right heel. So I'm looking towards you guys, but I should be looking slightly up here. Even that's difficult, right? You can start to feel the work. Very nicely done here, guys. So you're holding there. I'm just going to slowly release, okay? Let's take the left knee forward. And now let's roll towards the back body. So just dropping your head down. And let's take the left hand to the outer right foot. So slide your right knee away from you. Bring your right foot to the floor. And start to press the outer right thigh. And you start to move the knees away from each other. Walking that left foot towards the right hand. But today we're primarily focusing on getting that right foot to the floor, rolling towards the back of the body, and then just straightening the left leg, reaching to the left heel. That's a lift through the crease of the armpit chest. So let the breath lift through the side body again. Press through that outer right thigh. See if you can tuck that outer right buttocks cheek in. Press through the right thigh, maybe walk that left heel a microscopic millimeter away towards the right elbow and hand. Good job, everybody. So press that outer right thigh down, down, down to the floor. Lift through the crease of the armpit chest. Done. Let's release that right foot. Bring your knees together so we can spare the back. Let's bring the left hand to the floor as we press through the right elbow and the left hand. Let's all take a downward dog without the ropes. So let's measure the distance between our hands and feet. And I like to support the head. So bring your knees apart, feet together. Just gently support your head, and then let's walk the arms forward, coming into Adho Mukha Virasana. And then press the palms to the floor. Push your hips to your heels. And let's use the breath now. Think about lengthening through the front armpit chest. So as you inhale, lift the armpit chest towards the hands. And then press your palms actively to the floor. Push your hips down to your heels. See if you can draw your lower ribs towards your hips. And then again, Use the breath to start to create that space through the front of the body, slowly lengthening the spine. From that hip crease, so the hips are staying back, and then we slowly lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Just simply from breathing deeply. Sometimes it helps to do one kneecap at a time, then let's lift both kneecaps. Lift both kneecaps. Press through the base of the foot. And then take those heels down. And this is where we start to work on the length through the sides of the body a little more. So you're going to lift the heels slightly off the floor without taking your sacrum forward to the hands. So don't let your hips come forward. Let's lift the hips. Pull back through the sides of the body. Pull the body back. Let's take the heels down. Lift your kneecaps up. Nicely done. So let's do that several times. Without allowing the sacrum to come forward, let's lift the heels. Heels down, pulling back through the hips, lengthening through the sides of the body. Shoulders down away from the ears. See if you can draw the outer forearms in, outer hips in. And we're eventually looking to take those outer heels to the floor. Outer heels to the floor. Good job, everybody. Let's drop the knees down. Good. So you can start to feel the heat coming. So let's come on to the other side now. So Anantasana on the left side. So let's take the outer left arm forward. Align your feet and your hips, and you can see how just by aligning the elbow, it makes me want to roll backwards. So it's a tough compromise. It is, and I did my easier side first, right? So I'm really tippy on this side. So flex your feet, find that outer left heel, and then start to draw the knee in. So we do it slowly, because otherwise we'll roll back, and then we want to adjust, and then we fly forward. So do it slowly. These are the balancer muscles of the spine. As I said, this is a great pose to address the scoliosis. I would do it every day of my life. And then we work slowly. So the important part is not necessarily to get that right leg straight, but try not to roll back. Try to keep that left buttocks cheek firm, as though it was drawing to the left heel, and then slowly straighten the leg. And let's draw the right hip, that right sits bone, towards the inner left heel without tipping back. That's it. So if anybody had any idea how hard this is, just by watching, it looks like we're just taking a nice easy stretch. But there are a lot of muscles working hard here to hold this pose in place. And we start to create lots of length through the sides of the spine, dropping the shoulder down. Good. See if you can tuck that left sits bone a little further. So really grip that outer left buttocks cheek. Good job, ladies. Right sits bone towards the inner left heel. So slowly over time, if you move slowly and meticulously, the pose starts to take on its own identity, separate from what your mind has in terms of thoughts about the pose. Very nicely done, ladies. Tucking that left sits bone in and under, and then allowing the breath to lift through the armpit chest, creating that length in this wonderful hip opener. So use your breath. Let's all inhale, lift through the crease of the armpit chest together. Feel the length. So use your stomach muscles, use your belly, lift through your sternum. Lift through the side armpit chest, pressing through that outer left thigh. See if you can move your knees slightly further away from each other. Supta Kapotasana. Lift your upper chest, lift your upper thoracic spine. Lower ribs to the hips. Very nicely done. Let's release the right hand. Let's bring the knees together. Bring the right hand to the floor. Using your left elbow to slowly come up. Good job, everybody. So what do you say this time we take a downward dog with the ropes? And let's use the blocks. So let's take the blocks 3/4 of the way up the mat. Let's cross the ropes. Great. And let's come forward now. Let's take the heels about midway, 1/3 up the wall. And let's take the hands to the top of the blocks. And just think of the blocks as extension of the arms. Let's walk the blocks further forward. And let's press the palms down actively onto the blocks as we release the head down. And now press through the backs of your heels. Press through the backs of the heels. Let's lift the armpit chest towards the palms. And then actively press your palms down into the blocks. You can start to feel the upper forearms tightening actively around the bone. So the outer forearms are drawn in towards each other. And then we start to take those lower ribs towards the pelvis. So press those palms actively down onto the blocks, drawing the outer forearms in. Lower ribs to the hips. And now let's take the sits bones down to the heels. So all of these actions in the body are now working together. So don't leave one behind. If you feel that you've left or dropped or released a part in the body, see if you can go back and find that action. Intelligize that area. And then allow all things to start to work together in start to bring the work more and more into the lower part of the body so we can start to feel the legs and that deep crease in the hip deepening now. So press your heels, lift your chest, press your palms to the blocks, lower ribs to the hips. Let's breathe, everybody. Full body breaths if you can. Breathe deeply, full body breath. Nicely done. Let's walk the hands to the feet, feet to the hands. And then slowly come up here. Good. How's everybody doing here? Can we feel the magic starting? I sense that. Good job, guys. Okay, so we're going to continue opening the hips, and we're going to start here in Virasana. So I like to take the block underneath the sit bones. Number one priority is to avoid any sensation in the knees. No sensation in the knees. Let's take the hands underneath the tops of the feet. See if you can stretch the tops of the feet, pressing through the tops of your ankles. So you might get a cramp.
I find I still can't get my hands like underneath the feet.
Don't
I
stop.
can't get my toes. I can get the other ones. My big toe.
Okay, we're not going to stay here for long. See if you can press your hands down into the tops of the feet and tuck your sits bones, pressing through the tops of your ankles. That's it. Yes, nicely done. So my dear, lift through the upper chest. Crease of the armpit chest lifts. See if you can draw your shoulders, your inner shoulder blades together. Lift your belly. And now create that sense of trying to lift your knees off the floor without leaning back. Yeah. That's it. Lift those knees. Not really. That's it. So you feel the hips? Tuck, tuck, tuck. Press the tops of your ankles down to the floor. So my dear, I want you to come forward a little more. And now lift your knees. Come forward a little further. Come forward a little further. Okay, lift your belly. Okay. Good job, everybody. All right, so just in case you need it, let's take a block here, like so. And we're going to take our strap, like so. So I believe this is one of those great poses that heals the hip. Let's take the strap around the foot, and it's a nice, easy pause. And let's take the elbows back, draw the elbows in. So be a little patient. See if you can first and foremost straighten your leg and reach through the ball of the foot. Yeah. Drop your shoulders, lift through the crease of the armpit chest. So Alia, you should have the block turned the other way. Underneath your buttocks. It'll help you. So now you have both sits bones supported. That girl. Nice. Straighten your leg. So eventually we're taking the forehead to the shin. Triangle Pada Paschimottanasana. Eventually. But right now, lift that right kneecap. So we've got to get that leg straight and drop the hip. Can you start to feel the work? So that right kneecap and thigh are lifting, lifting, lifting. Reach through the ball of the foot. See if you can lift your leg a little higher. Lift your belly. So as I said, just be a little bit patient here. Can you imagine holding this pose for 17 minutes on each side? Truly. So lift through the crease of the armpit chest. Lift, lift, lift. So we should start to feel that right thigh. Straighten your leg. Reach through the ball of the foot. That's it. Lift through the crease of the armpit chest. Reach for the ball of the foot. So we could do this for a while. That's it. Breathe deeply. Full body breaths. Very nicely done, ladies. Good, so let's take both ends of the strap in the right hand. Let's reach the left arm up. Feel the length. So we can either take the outer right foot, but you can see I'm collapsing. So I'm just taking the strap with the left hand, reaching the right arm up. Feel the length. Drop the right hip. Drop the right hip. That's it. Drop the right hip. Lift. And let's take the right arm back. So if you've got the wall, great. Drop the right hip, lift through the crease of the armpit chest. Good job. Inner thighs together, shoulders down. Lift through the belly. Drop your right hip. Thank you. Let's take the right hand back to meet the left. So we can either fold forward like so, or come right off our support. It's up to you, but let's remove that right sit bone, draw it back. So we're untucking that right sit bone. If you feel that you would like to come to the floor, feel free. It's entirely up to you. And then let's start to walk the hands forward towards the foot. So you can see I've got my right hand holding me so I don't tip, because this is difficult. So see if you can press the back of that right thigh down to the floor. Take a few deep breaths. The good news is you're going to sleep much better tonight. Letting go of all this tension. You can feel it's even difficult to take a deep breath. That's it. So just focus on breathing. Try not to let your mind give you any thoughts. No thoughts. No opinions. Just allow the body to start to receive the pose with the breath. Breathe deeply, full body breaths. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then let's slowly come up here. So we're going to continue on this side. And you can see how I'm grabbing a bolster. So scooch forward if you can. And we're going to lie back in Ardha Supta Virasana. So just see what you can do. You can see I'm giving myself lots of support here. So to come into the pose, bring your right foot to the floor. And if you need to lift the knees, you slowly come back. And here we are. So try to have your right foot on the floor, and then start to tuck the pelvis in and under. So maybe you don't need so much height.
I'm pretty happy I can do this.
Okay, good. I'm down just a little bit lower. I'll just do a quick toe check here. Good. Very nice, girls. So you see you've got this right foot, and this can start to lead the effort here. So see if you can take your sit bones actively towards your knees. And you're lengthening from this left hip along the top of the thigh, out through the kneecap, and you're pressing through that right heel so that that right hip is also drawn forward. And we can further tinker. You can see how my left knee is flying a little high. So placing something underneath the knee to create a little resistance can also help. There we go. And now I have that ability to press the left knee down into the blanket as well as tuck the left sits bone in and under. So I create a double two-dimensional stretch. So we want to avoid allowing that left knee to fly out. And sometimes taking the hand to the back of the heel and pressing that palm into the back of the heel can help. The outer four fingers are drawing to the outer ankle to draw that outer ankle in, and the thumb is actually lengthening the instep of the inner ankle. Just to create that length through the instep, the inner ankle, as you draw the outer ankle in. Sits bones towards the knee. So we're scooping those sits bones in and under. Very nicely done, everybody. Good job. So let's start to come out of the pose. And let's just take Paschimottanasana. Yeah, you're going to feel like a gymnast at the end, doing all sorts of crazy little... Good. So let's just move the sits bones to the sides. Just take your hands to your outer feet as you fold forward, lift your kneecaps, press the backs of the thighs to the floor. So again, we're lifting through that crease of the armpit chest to deepen the range from the hip, not from the upper spine. Good job. And then let's come into Virasana again. Just coming onto the block. So if you needed that block there, just in case. And then let's take the left leg forward and take the strap around the ball of the foot. So two hands in the strap. Elbows back, lift through the crease of the armpit chest, get that left leg straight. So if you need to sit higher, don't be cheap with yourself. Give yourself more height if you need it. Typically, I might sit on a blanket and block, but we're not here for very long, so that's it. Lift through the crease, so try to lift through the sides of the body, straightening that left leg. So strap in two hands, elbows to the torso, my love, elbows to the torso. Back, back, back. Yes. And then lift. Straighten the left leg. That's it. Nicely done. So this is deceivingly difficult. See if you can straighten the left leg. So we want to start to get into that left hip and let the hip drop as we lift through the side body, through the armpit chest. Very nicely done. So eventually, we take the forehead to the shin. Can you imagine? And we're typically not on the blocks, but this is a great way to start to enter the pose with some integrity. So we want to lift and have that spinal extension, that back bend. And that left hip, straighten that left leg. Good job. Very nicely done. So at this point, the mind starts to give you a lot of feedback. See if you can draw a boundary around that area that seems to be dogging you right now. Draw a boundary around that area. Notice how the mind resists. Just insist upon it. Draw that boundary around that area. That's Looking ridiculously happy. We're almost there, ladies. Straighten that leg one more time. Lift. Let's take both ends of the strap in the left hand and let's reach the right arm up. So find that leg, lift, lift, lift. Keep the leg straight. Right hand to the outer left foot of the strap. Let's reach the left arm up now. Lift and lengthen. Drop the left hip down. Lift and lengthen. Shoulders down. Armpit chest up. Left arm back. Very nicely done. So shoulders down, elbows up. Lift through the crease of the armpit chest. Drop that left hip down. Lifting that left kneecap. Let the breath create that space for you. So let the mind go. Let's take the left arm back and let's fold forward. So we release the strap. If you want to come down, you're free to do so, removing your box. Now, rule of thumb, let's try and keep the hips level, and then we fold forward. So keep those hips level. Both sides may not be the same. It's an unfortunate fact. It's just the way it goes. So you can see I'm giving myself a little more love underneath this left hip, because the right hip was so tight that I overstretched the left side to try and compensate. I didn't notice, but I was turning slightly to one side. So that's where the power of observation really helps. Just taking a look to see if you have a preference, an imbalance, and then try to right that imbalance just through the power of observation and then directing the breath. Breathe deeply, let the mind go. Fullness in the breath, freedom in the body. See if you can deepen the breath now. Just deepen your breath. Let that left thigh and kneecap continue to lift up into the hip, and then lift the belly up and over the thigh to create that microscopic, deeper hinge from the hip. So the inner right groin is dropping down, that right foot is slightly to the outer right hip, so the right sits bone is releasing down. And then over time, the body starts to accept the pose more and more. And then there's a point at which it doesn't. Good job. So now we're going to start to come into Ardha Supta Virasana. So just make sure your bolster is where it needs to be. And then have the left foot on the floor, the left knee bent. If you need to lift the knee up to come down. And then, as mentioned before, because my knee is flying high, I create a little bit of support as well as some resistance. So I support underneath the knee so I can press that knee down into the blanket, as well as work from the right sits bone, tucking it in and under. And the driver is the left foot. That's it. So don't let that right knee fly out. Try to keep that right thigh drawing in, so the inner thighs are drawing in towards each other. Take your sits bones towards your knees. So we're tucking that right sits bone in and under, as well as creating length from the top of that right hip, along the top of the thigh, out through the kneecap. Breathe deeply, everybody. Full body breaths. So we're tucking the sits bones in and under. We're lifting through the crease of the armpit chest, but the lower ribs are also drawing towards the hips. And then the sits bones and the hips are drawing towards the lower ribs. So everything starts to unite its way. And this is how we rewrite the memories of the body, finding new muscle memories. And in that new place is a little freedom, a little moksha. Compliments of the breath. That's why the more you let the mind fall away, the more you start to feel that sensation of joy and bliss as you activate the left prefrontal cortex of the brain. So see if you can press your left heel, tuck your sits bones in and under one last time. Create that sense of unity in the pelvis by drawing the outer hips in, inner thighs in. Let the breath perform its magic. So the mind doesn't create space. It's a long time to realize it's the breath. It's the breath. Good job, you guys. Okay, so let's start to make our way out of the pose. And the best thing to come into is downward dog from Virasana, Supta Virasana. So I'm just sliding back, taking Adho Mukha Virasana, so just measuring the distance between my hands and feet. Let's tuck the toes in and under as we draw the outer arms down and in. And let's lift the kneecaps up, lift the tops of the thighs up. Press your heels down. And let's draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Let's press through all 10 hand knuckles. So start to feel the palms, grow those roots through the earth. Feel your hand knuckles as though you were lifting your fingertips and stretching your fingertips further and further away from the center of the palm. So that space between your index and middle finger, pressing actively down through the earth, will help to increase the action of your inner upper forearms, which are typically very lazy. And then we draw the outer forearms in to unite the two sides, allowing the entire forearm to work, not just the outsides. So one more time, let's explore without allowing the sacrum and hips to come forward. Lift your heels, pulling back through the hips, and then let's take the heels down. Lengthening through the sides of the body. Good job. Let's walk the hands to the feet. So we're coming into Uttanasana. Stack the hips above the knees, knees above the ankles, and then lift your kneecaps up. So if you need your blocks because you are sitting behind your heels, then use your blocks underneath your hands, but then start to bring the weight forward into the balls of the feet so that we are stacking, aligning the hips, the knees, and ankles. And then let's press the heels down as you lift those kneecaps further and further. Let's start to take the lower ribs towards the hips. So don't sit back in your heels.
The weight is forward into the front of the feet as you press your heels down, lifting your kneecaps up. See if you can start to feel your outer heels. So the outer feet are parallel to the mat because the toes are turning slightly in to facilitate that internal rotation at the head of the femur bone. The outer hips are also drawing back. The outer shins are also drawing back. See if you can lengthen through your big toes. So lengthen through the outside of the big toes, lengthen through the insides of the big toes. Lengthen those big toe knuckles. Very nicely done, ladies. So just explore walking your hands forward back to downward dog without lifting your heels. So take your time. Start to walk your hands forward without lifting your heels. So we start to work in microscopic increments. Pressing those outer heels down to the floor, lifting your kneecaps, lifting the tops of the thighs. Maybe walk your hands a little further forward. So we're keeping those hips back and we're lengthening the spine. Very nicely done, ladies. Let's drop the knees down. How's everybody doing? Okay, so let's take the happy bolster here, and let's have our blocks forward. And let's take the downward dog. But this time, let's walk that right foot up the wall and drop the left heel down. So the more you press through the ball of that right foot, taking the right heel up and releasing the left heel down, lifting up through the left kneecap, the deeper this pose becomes. So we're reaching through that right heel. That right hip is facing straight down to the floor. Both hips are square. Let's take the right leg entirely over the bolster now. And let's hug that right heel to the bolster. And let's take the blocks. Nice. And let's hug that right heel to the bolster. Good. You guys are doing great. And let's lift up. So as you hug your right heel to the bolster, take your left hip to your right heel. So we don't want to have that left hip back behind the right hip. We want to have both hips square, right in line on the same axis. Shoulders down, crease of the armpit, chest up. Lift the belly, and let's start to take the right hip back towards the left foot. And as you press to the top of the left foot, squeeze your left buttocks. Feeling how the left hip is now coming forward to the right heel. So eventually we want to close the space between the right heel and the left hip. That's why the bolster is creating that link until later. Lift your belly, lift, lift, lift. Hugging the right heel. Use your breath now. Let the breath start to open through that front body. Good. That action of starting to yawn is a good sign. It means that your central nervous system is opening. It's a good sign. All right. So let's just release. Let's come back the way we came. And let's take the hands down. And this time let's lift the left leg up the wall. Right heel down, right kneecap up. So the more you press through that left foot, the more you can see we're lifting up. And then right heel down, right kneecap up. Shoulders down. So we're reaching out to that left heel. Good. And then let's take the left leg all the way over the bolster. And let's grip the heel with the bolster. And I'm rolling my bolster to the higher level to give myself a little extra support. And let's flex that left heel. So the foot is soft to keep the groin open, but we're flexing or lengthening through that left Achilles so that we don't create any tension in the knee. Lift your belly, lift your belly, lift your belly. That's it, Ellie, let that tension go. So you see how the tension really collects in the jaw? So where does tension typically start? Inside the inner ear. So let's dig that left heel to the bolster and create that connection between the right hip and the left heel. And then as you start to take your left sits bone back to the right heel, and this takes the right hip forward to the left heel, we press to the top of that right foot and squeeze that right buttocks. So that right hip is coming further in towards the left heel. Breathe deeply, full body breaths if you can. Breathe, breathe, breathe. All right, let's take the right leg forward. And let's move the bolster off to the side. Let's come down onto the belly. That's it. Now guess what? Let's bend the legs. Take the hands to the ankles. And let's flex the feet. So flex your feet to lift your thighs. This should feel fairly easy now. Well, easy's relative, right?
Yes.
So flex your feet to lift your thighs, lift through the crease of the armpit chest. So this is one of those poses you can really push, according to one of my teachers. So let your breath do its duty. Let's release. Let's take the hands to the lower ribs, pressing through the tops of the feet, kneecaps up. Let's draw the shoulders back. And let's come into upward facing dog. So press into the tops of the feet. Squeeze your outer buttocks, cheek in, shoulders down. Lift through the crease of the armpit chest. Press through the tops of the feet. Good job. Go over the toes as we come into our last downward dog of the day. Drop those shoulders down, lift your kneecaps up. Just take that moment to look at your pose. And let's drop the knees down. So I think we're pretty much done here.
Unless you guys want to keep going. Let's come into our final Shavasana.
So just a moment to lay flat. Just take a moment, tuck your shoulder blades in and under, and just take your feet ever so slightly out to the sides. Let's close the eyes. And just bring the mind to the center of the forehead now. And allow the two halves of the forehead to fall away from each other. So allow that right side to fall down and over to the right. And let the left side of the forehead fall down and over to the left. Softening now through the innermost corner of the eyes. And let's go a little further, softening the innermost corner of the ears. So again, relax and soften the inner corner of the ears. Just allow the mind to be still now with the body. Let's take our hands to our belly and gently drawing your knees to your chest. Take one final rock as you rock from side to side, releasing through your lower back and hip. And let's roll to the right, using your right elbow and your left hand to gently press you up. Coming into an easy seated position. Let's take one final stretch as we reach the arms up and lift from your sits bones. Hands to prayer on the exhale, and take a moment now and just thank yourself for working so hard to bring something new, and more importantly, leaving whatever it is you no longer need here on your mat. Thank you. Namaste. Great job, you guys. That was very nicely done. Thank you for working so hard.